Hey, this is John from the 2018 30K Challenge. There's a couple of trades I want to go over. Well, actually, just one. The one I took on FLR. FLR today was on earnings. And before we get there, let's go over the disclaimer. I added this part, I am becoming a profitable trader. The last couple weeks I've been in the demo account and I've actually felt better than I ever have before. I'm actually uh, profitable over 2 weeks and I feel very comfortable in managing risk. I've had a couple losing days, but more winners than losers. So I am becoming a profitable trader. My option trading is getting better as well when I'm waiting for the best setups and I'm finally growing in that area. But anyway, this is just my theory of how I trade based upon my own experience. And, by viewing this, you agree not to hold Jonathan Lowe or any of my assets liable for losses that you encounter while trading the stock market. Always seek the counsel of your professional financial advisor before making any investment. Anyway, um, do the same thing. I get stocks for the gap scanner from Average Joe Trader. He told me he was watching floor, so I just drew my own pre-market lines. I made a trading plan. As I was reading price action, it began to nullify my original trade idea, and I'm getting very comfortable with adjusting my trade plan. And what I did, I knew it wasn't going to get to the daily 100, 200, and pre-market macro pivot. So I decided I would use the 1 minute, 2 minute entry setup. And I'll go over that. All right, so let's go to the chart here and take a look here. Let's look at this one right here. And, there's a lot of lines here. I could probably clear up. Let me clear up a couple of these lines here. Don't need the Bollinger Bands right here for now. If you watch my other video on how to draw pre-market lines, you'll know how to draw these pre-market macro pivot, daily 200, macro pivot. There was another pre-market macro pivot up here, but because this was so close to the daily 200, I thought we'd get short around 50. And look at this $50 level. That's a very technical level as well. The only problem I have with this is that up here it's 15% down from yesterday's close, and now it was over 20%. So this is pretty far extended to the downside. So I was a little nervous coming into this how I would trade this, whether it'd go straight, break through this and go back up, to 10-12%, or it'd go back down. I just had to read the price action as it comes out. And this is something that I've had to grow, a lot in. And maybe we could talk about it another time. But, you get sort of locked in sometimes when you don't really know what you're doing. You have one trading plan and, you just stick to it. And, come hell or high water, you're sticking to that plan. And, sometimes it works out for you, but a lot of times it doesn't always work out for you and you have to adjust. And if you don't adjust well, you're going to lose money and get really frustrated. So anyway, right off the bat, it opened here, came up, and that's a low day to this level up here again, not right where the pre-market or for this macro pivot is. Didn't get up as high and began to fail pretty hard here. So once I saw that, I said, something, this looks like, this level right here, 48.65, this 48.70 is going to hold, and it may not get up to this level, because this 1 minute candle got pretty red here. So I said, hey, something, I need to wait to get up to the 2 minute chart where it gets up to retesting the VWAP, the 9, and maybe, this, the 20 here. So it didn't, it came up here, didn't quite get there. And if we switch to a 2 minute chart here, you'll see what I'm talking about. So once it breaks on the 1 minute chart, I want to switch to a 2 minute chart, which is a little bit slower. And you'll see that if we go back, within this 2 minute candle, it went up and down. So let's see here. Actually, let's jump back one more here. So the first 1 minute candle, it went all the way up. The second 1 minute candle on the 1 minute chart went all the way down, not all the way down. And I said, okay, I want to enter, hopefully maybe where this 9 and VWAP is, and so the next candle went up that high. I was very tempted to get in because, it's rejecting very close to the $48 level, as you can see here. And it's right at VWAP. Excuse me. But I know that the high of day, right here so far is 65 cents. And if I enter here, it's too big of a risk. I don't want to get in, 100 shares or 200 shares and it go up to 65 and go above and stop me out. So I didn't get in. So even when it came up here and came back down, but I felt pretty comfortable. It's okay. It's okay. No trade is a good trade, and you gotta wait for your setup. So the next candle, then went up, and I believe I entered here. This got close enough to up here, this 48.65 level, where I entered, probably around 27. Maybe 24, 25, right around here, or I say, I'll accept a 40-cent loss above this to stop me out at 100 shares. And after the next candle opened up and began to fail, I added some more, whatever, and then ended up getting, taking profit out here, and ultimately I made about 340 bucks or something like that, from here down to here, and then I got stopped out here. Okay, and if you want to look at what the trades are, I marked it off on this 15-second chart here, and I hope you can see it fairly well. And so it goes up, this 15 seconds, 15, 30, 45, 1 minute, second minute, the initial second minute came back up, didn't quite get where I wanted to go, thought I was going to miss it, spiked up quickly, and then rejected off of this. And then I said, okay, hey, I'm going to get short. So I got short here. This red candle looked a little bit weak, so now I'm using a real fast time frame. I added more, got weak here, and so instead of having my stop loss way back here, as I'm adding more size, my stop loss has got to be up here somewhere at the 48.20 level. Then I added more, so I had like 600 shares here, and as it came back up, I looked at it and I said, I have too much size here. I need to reduce my risk. And this is sort of on the fly, a lot of times before I would just hold it anyway, but I said, I need to reduce my risk because it's always about risk management. So I took half my shares off, took a small loss on some of that. And then as it flushed through here, I took some off because, actually, no, I added through here, added back as it flushed, I added, and it came back up here, and as it dropped back down, this right here was a bad profit taking, because when I added here, I thought I added here, but I got filled here, and I did, because these arrows don't show up when you're actually trading, because when I trade, I don't see quite my entries. I can see the average price, and my average price ended up being right about here, After add, minus, and then add, my average price was, right about here. And so basically this was actually another little loss. But, it started to work out for me. Came up here, it flushed down. I did take profit down here, according to my records. And so, really from 46 down to, close to probably 15 or 12 plus this, it gave me a nice profit. And then it pulled up here. And as this thing began to fail, I told myself, actually I set another order out down here to take profit because this was the next level of profit from, all the way down to 75 from 20. There's another 50 cents. But as this went up and it began to get weak, I told myself as soon as this thing breaks this low, I would add, and it did. And I added here, flushed down. I got stopped. I took some more profit here. As it hit this bottom and started coming back up, I decided to take even more profit and hold the last bit, and ended up stopping me out right about here. I think my break even was a little bit above that anyway, so I just want to make sure I stopped out quickly. So right there in this 7-minute period, made about 340 bucks, and then I had to go to work, and then that was it. So anyway, I do want to show you this. There was another entry on this stock that I did not take. I was not really looking at it, sort of giving up on it, and I had to go to work anyway. But as we were watching it, um, there is. Let me pull this. I'm gonna squish it down so I get some of these moving averages back in here. So we're looking for another entry. Me and my son were, and I caught this move, made it 300. It started coming back up. I didn't trade it long. Then it popped up here, and then it shot up here. And if you look at it, it rejects, um, you know, it rejects this 1 minute 50 SMA. And I think if I would have saw that on the 1 minute chart, I would say, hey, that's respecting technically at least a spot here. And then now, as it came down here to this intraday level at 48, 48's a whole dollar. I think I would have added through here and caught this down. And my stop, could have been a little bit above, 48. Could have been all the way up to 31 if I wanted to do a 30-cent stop. But yeah, maybe I could have entered in 100 shares and my stop would be, here. But as this began to work, I probably would have added more and caught this flush down for the second one, and even got maybe even a little bit more too, before it came back up and got stopped out. But anyway, that's it for the trade. Just give you a account. That was in my demo account. My real account, I closed my Apple spread here for like a $100 profit. So that was nice since the earnings on Apple the other day. And I closed my Intel spread for small profit, and that's really about it. The only other one that I really wanted to take that I didn't was the SPY trade. Let's see, I just talk about this real quick. I told myself yesterday, if the SPY comes down and hits the daily 200, starts going up, I want to take a long up with the stop on the other side of this. And if you can see it, the SPY moved all the way back up here like 4 points and could have made a ton of money. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Talk to you and have a great day.